Hey, we back. I'm here on Karuta, and today we're talking about sketching, one of the other cosmetics. There's a lot of cosmetics in Karuta. I think this is probably the last one. I think we've gone over all the others so far already. Now, sketching is pretty cool. Sketching is not complicated, but it is hard, because sketching is basically just drawing. If you want to do some sketches yourself, you're going to need to be some good at art, if you want to make particularly good sketches, or at least. And it's also worth noting that sketches don't really do anything. There's no increasing effort values or anything like that here. It's just sketching on a card. So in the same sense of trims, this is just something that you can do if you feel like it, if you're particularly dedicated to the character. So what actually is sketching? Well, let's have a look at the sketch command, if I can spell. There we go. Sketch here. I've put a little code in here, pre and ready. The inkwell is currently 0 ink. It says drop of blood. I guess we sketch in blood. But yeah, we're gonna need ink in order to do sketches. You can buy ink in the gem shop. It is pretty cheap. There you go, 1 gem for 1 ink. But you're going to need a lot of ink if you want to do a fancy sketch. A really big sketch across the whole card is probably going to cost something like 10,000 ink. I mean, it depends, of course, how detailed you want to go and all the rest of it. We'll get to that later. But yes, you could quite easily spend a lot of gems on ink if you want a fancy sketch. But if you don't, it's not too expensive. Has a bunch of rules about applying the sketch and making it, good for the bot. But pretty much, like I say, this is just drawing on the card, and then we get a little link here to go to the studio where we can actually do the sketches. So I'm going to click on that link here. And I'll take you over and show you what this little interface is like. So as you can see, I've got my Callan here, very nice Callan. We've got all of our colors down the bottom, and we can see how much droplets we're spending in the top left. We also have a couple of simple tools like zooming in. We've got undo, redo, and then different sizes of brushes. So this is, as you can imagine, just kind of drawing on the card, and as you can see, when we draw, it goes up in cost. That was about 10 per stroke there. It's worth noting that it is not equivalent to how many pixels you cover up and how many droplets you use. For example, if I just click, that's 9. And in fact, if I use the smaller brush and I click, it's also 9. Whereas if I do a line, well, that was only 13, and this is clearly a lot more pixels changed on the picture. So there is certainly ways to optimize how much you're spending on drawing the same thing. If you can get it all drawn in a certain number of strokes, that's going to be a lot cheaper for you. And if you can do it all with bigger brushes, that's also going to be cheaper for you. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's pretty much just drawing on the card. It's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to say. I wanted to let you know that it exists, really, because I think I've done all the other cosmetics. Now, like I say, this doesn't change anything. So you only want to be doing this if you really want to make the card look nice. And it's also worth noting that you can't draw up here. I'll try, but you can't draw up here where the frame or anything like that is. You can only draw on the actual picture. So before you do your sketch, you're going to want to make sure that your frame, your morph, your die, all the rest of it is all kitted out to what you want, especially the frame. Because if you can get a frame where this stuff up here is invisible, so for example, the interface frame, because of course the interface frame, being as popular as and as expensive as it is, you can't see this stuff up here. It gives you a lot of room to do the sketch. You can see more of the picture, you can see more of the sketch. Makes a lot of sense. So that's one of the reasons why those transparent frames are worth so much more. I mean, there is also easel, for instance, which looks particularly good with sketches because it's an easel. And so that's why that one's worth more as well. A lot of frames are worth different amounts, depending on how easily sketchable they are. But of course, at the end of the day, seeing the picture is also just valuable in itself because people want to see the picture. But yeah, anyway, there you go. You want to make sure you get your frame sorted before you start your sketch. I'm going to give a couple of examples of sketches here. If I go and find the main Karuta Hub server, we can go into the bulletin board where they periodically post some pictures of sketches. There we go. So there was actually one posted a few days ago. We've got a little collage here of a bunch of different sketches, and you can see some of these look pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think I need to point out which ones look pretty cool. I mean, all of them look pretty cool. I mean, there's also things like Steve, but hey, that's pretty cool. We love Steve. Look how long his face is. It's a great card. As you can see as well, most of these sketches have frames that make the text things invisible. You can see all of these ones down the bottom row, most of these ones on this row. You get to, like Magnemite here. This has a little box that fits because you wanted a square thing for the sketch for the Pokemon thing. Now, of course, isn't true for all of them. So, for example, Karishima here, he's not got a transparent one, but it still fits. It's all good. You can obviously pick whichever frame you want, but as you can see, a lot of people are going to be picking frames that allow you to see as much of the picture as possible, so you can get the big sketch in. And there's a lot of these sketches. Now, what you may be wondering is, how are you going to get one of these cool sketches if you don't have epic and cool art abilities? Well, of course, if you do have epic and cool art abilities, you can sell your epic and cool art abilities. You can do the sketch and get the person to pay the amount that it cost you in ink, plus a bit extra, and then the artist makes a profit, and you get your cool art on a card. So then you have both sides of the coin, right? If you have good art skills, feel free to go and make some of these cool sketches and sell them, or probably more likely take commissions for sketches. And then if you want some cool sketches, you can go buy them from people with cool art skills. Probably a lot of people here will be the same people, drawing all the sketches. I wouldn't be surprised if one particular artist has made a bunch of these sketches just because they do a lot of commissions on Karuta. It's a pretty good way to make some money, that's for sure. And when I say money, I do of course mean gems, but to be fair, gems is money, so same deal. Anyway, there's a lot of really cool sketches. Some of them are quite funny, some of them are really cool, detailed. You can do a lot of small things as well. Of course, all the examples here are going to be pretty intense because these people have sketched out the whole card. But at the end of the day, if you want to just add a funny face onto your card with a sketch, it's only going to cost you a few gems, and you can probably do that without any major art skill. And so I would say it's still worth doing. Whatever you want your card to look like, you can make it look like that. That's the point, as long as you're willing to pay the price. But anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to say here, so I'm going to end this video. Bye!